Welcome back to Old Guy REI. In this episode of Work Van Confessions, today I was planning on talking about a topic that's come up over the last few days, and I was listening to the Three Amigos earlier, and part of their conversation was about dreamers. And I think in their conversation, at least what I took away from it was there was a little bit of a negative spin on dreamers, and that I think they categorized it like dreamers are people who just dream and don't take any action to improve their lives, maybe complain about their situation all the time, but don't do anything to move towards the goal of having a better life or a better future for themselves. And I was just thinking while I was listening to that I think there are at least a couple classes of dreamers. I consider myself a dreamer, but I think we need to be able to dream, right? We need to be able to dream or fantasize about how our life's going to be better once we take the necessary steps to get to a certain point, whether it's financially or probably mostly financially, right? Because if you can take care of your finances, then they will take care of you, hopefully, in the future. I think also sometimes some of the dreamers that never get anywhere, maybe they don't know any better. We've also talked in the past about financial literacy, and like when I grew up, my parents knew what they knew, right? And they passed that on to me. My mom was super hardworking. So was my father, but my mom was a saver. My dad was more of a spender. And, I think they struggled, at least from what I saw. They didn't, we really didn't feel it as kids in the family, but I could see how hard it was for them to keep things going day to day. So, part of that first group of dreamers might not know any better. And then, there is the other half that does know better, but just complains about their situation. And then the second category would be where I think I fall into, where I think we need dreams. We need to be able to think about what life will be like once we reach that goal, whether it's financial freedom or living in, a place that you think is, might be heaven to you. But I think dreaming helps us get through what might be rougher times, hard days at work, or tough situations that we have to get through. But dreaming about what will be once you make it through the rough spots is, I think, what helps me keep moving forward. Cynthia and I were having a conversation the other day because right now I think one of the lottery jackpots is over $1 billion. And if you take all the cash at once, you would get half that, like $500 million. I know that's a crazy amount, but why wouldn't you get the whole jackpot, right? Why does the government get to say, take half, and they didn't even contribute when you bought the ticket? So that's a totally different topic. But when Cynthia and I were talking about it and thinking about one of her first thoughts was, who could we help with that money? And I think that a lot of us might think, whatever's left over when I die, I'm going to donate or gift to whoever, but it seemed like I thought it was a better idea to start helping people now, right? Because who's going to blow through $500 million? Maybe there are people who have, but if you could help people now, and I think it would be a greater reward because you get to see them prosper and help them have better lives. If it's an individual that you're going to give money to, that was another interesting thing. When we made a list of people that we'd love to help, the majority of the people weren't family. And there are lots of reasons for that, but one of the places that Cynthia thought she might like to help was the school that she works at. This is her last year, and she's been there for over 20 years. She loves the kids, and that's kept her going all this time. But the school could definitely use a little bit of help, and I think most schools can. But to set up scholarships or something to help families who can't really afford the tuition, there is a tuition. It's a Christian school, and compared to public school, it's quite expensive. But that was one of her thoughts. I thought that was kind of cool to be able to, to help people. Obviously, our children would be well taken care of no matter what, but I just had to run through all that in my head because I think, like I said, at least for me, dreaming helps a lot. And so I wonder, I mean, if you spend a few bucks on a lottery ticket, and if you ever did get lucky enough to win, what would you do with the money? Who would you help? What would your life look like after that point? It will be interesting to hear what your thoughts are. And if you do, consider subscribing and hitting that like button. I would appreciate that. And when we win the lottery, I'll be sure to come back and let you know what we're going to be doing with all that money.